Hello, welcome to the Joe Cortez Show here in Las Vegas, Nevada, the entertainment capital of the world. Today we have a special guest that I met most recently, a couple of weeks ago, at Lafayette, Indiana. She is the director of football academics and CAVE at Purdue University. Welcome to the show. Welcome to the show,
Hi,
Samantha.
thanks for having me.
Okay, great having you on the show today. It was really a pleasure meeting you the other day in Indiana with my grandson just before he graduated. It was such a pleasure being there and seeing my grandson graduate. Now tell us a little bit about, you've been his tutor, you've been helping out with the football team. Now your title as director of the football academics, can you tell us a little bit about what that entails?
Yeah, absolutely. No, it was wonderful to meet you a few weeks ago too. In my role as director of football academics, I'm fortunate to just work with the entire football team and kind of help them on their academic journey while they're at Purdue. So sometimes that means helping them register for their classes, make sure they're taking the correct classes to meet progress towards degree or to finish their degrees at Purdue. I hire tutors and mentors from the community to help our students through their classes. And then we really kind of make sure those classes are accessible and students have the resources that they need in order to pass the classes while they're here. So that's a little bit of what I do. Sometimes I feel like a big sister or a mom to the guys while they're here, but the focus is usually academics.
Okay, great. So now how many students you say you have there that's under your jurisdiction?
So the football team usually runs about 120 gentlemen deep on the roster, but the program that I oversee with the CAVE, we serve students from all 16 sports teams. So we have 108 in the program that I oversee now, plus the football team.
Now, how many students total are there at Purdue University?
So right now, Purdue is incredibly competitive academically. This past year, we had just under 70,000 applicants apply, but we have about 40,000 students, undergraduate and graduate students on campus right now.
Wow, unbelievable. So,
yeah, it's a great spot.
So now, when I was there at the graduation 2 weeks ago, they had a big crowd out there at the theater there. It was an amazing crowd. How many students graduated that day? And there were so many, a couple of hundred, right?
Oh, yeah. I think throughout the weekend, there were 9 separate graduation ceremonies. So there's probably thousands that graduated the entire weekend between Friday, Saturday, and Sunday.
Unbelievable. So now you're involved with the students with the football. Can you tell us a different sport, but football, you have all these young folks under your guidance. Can you tell us a little bit about how do you get into this? First of all.
Okay. Yeah, so I went to Purdue. So when I was younger, when I was in high school, my dad took me out on my college visits, and we saw a lot of great schools, but the one that really stuck out to me was Purdue. So I studied English education when I was a student here. And right out of college, I decided to teach. I taught high school English and journalism. And when I was doing that, I was involved in a lot of extracurriculars. I coached the girls' basketball team. I did the yearbook, the newspaper. And one of the cool things that I did in my position was I helped start a program called the Dream Team, which was a program that was designed for us at the high school to kind of connect with the middle school teachers and administration and kind of decide if there were students that were coming to the high school that we thought might need additional support, whether that be academic or mentorship through us or with the peers in the high school. And so that kind of really started I kind of got the ball rolling in like my idea that I wanted to help students kind of make transitions in their lives. And so I knew I would love to come to Purdue in some capacity. I didn't know that this kind of role existed, but when I saw it posted, I convinced my administration. I said, just give me a chance. Like, I promise that I will work hard. No one's going to outwork me. I don't know exactly what I'm doing, but I think we can really kind of establish a program that really does help students transition into college. Student athletes, working with your grandson, they're spending 40 hours a week at their sport and navigating college life and growing up and moving out on their own. And so the program that we've kind of established here really helps them transition academically, but we do more than just academic transition. How do navigate difficult conversations with your coaches? What do you do when you're homesick? How do you get along with a team that's full of people from all over the country or all over the world? And so we really kind of focus on that transitional piece in the cave.
Great. Now you're married, and your husband is also a teacher. Is that correct?
Yeah, we met here our senior year at Purdue, and he teaches elementary PE, but he coaches at the high school level.
Great, 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 great. So you had your dream come true, and you got the right partner who's more or less in your same league, you would say.
Yeah, for sure.
Fantastic, fantastic. Now, during the pandemic period, I mean, it had to be kind of difficult during that period of the last couple of years. How was that for you? And then with the students, I know they were probably depressed and going under so much stress during the pandemic. Can you walk us through what happened during that period of time?
Yeah, that was a really challenging period because I think these students are so used to being surrounded by their peers. And so to have like their peer group taken away from them was really different. I think we're also really fortunate at Purdue to have a lot of access. So like the facility that we're in is manned with technology, right? They have the webcams, they have the ability to log into their classes, they have that support. And so when we sent our students home during the pandemic, it was really challenging to make sure that we could still offer them the same support and access. But I think it like really shed a light on maybe the reality that some students just don't have the same access at home that they had at Purdue. So it was a lot of Zoom calls, it was a lot of emails, it was late nights and early mornings, and probably more work than I've ever done before, just because, you know, when I'm in the cave now, I can easily work with a handful of students at once, but it made it more difficult to do when we were doing virtual meetings.
Now, during that period, was there many dropouts because of that?
No, we're really fortunate that Purdue as an institution made just a lot of general blanketed rules for students at Purdue. At Purdue, if students fall below a 2.0, they might go on academic probation, which is just essentially like a warning to students, like, hey, your grades are maybe not exactly where we would like them to be. But during COVID, Purdue as an institution got rid of academic probation and really kind of focused on making sure students were still getting through their classes and, you know, not having like the pressure of potentially not doing well when the support was so restricted just as a whole for all of our students.
Yeah. Now, as far as the students trying to get their tuitions to get into Purdue University, has that been a difficult factor for a lot of families to get into that Purdue University?
Financially, I mean, college is an exceptional cost, but I think maybe for the past 10 years at Purdue, our tuition has been frozen for students. And so while a lot of other institutions continually raise the cost of attendance, Purdue, like I said, that was a big goal of our previous president of the institution, was to truly try to make this a more affordable experience for in-state and out-of-state students. And so, yeah, our tuition has been frozen. And it would be, you know, something that we've taken a lot of pride in, is not kind of upping that cost every year as a lot of institutions do.
Tell a little bit about the history of Purdue. Purdue's been around over 100 years. Am I correct?
Yeah, you're correct. I think we have a really rich academic history at Purdue. I think there's a lot of emphasis in doing academics at the highest level possible. And so when I'm meeting with football recruits, one of the points of emphasis that I like to make is you can compete at the highest level, and you can be competitive on your field or in the pool or on the court, but you can also get a world-class education that's really going to help open a lot of doors for you once you do graduate. I really try to stress, like, Purdue has opened a lot of doors for me professionally that I think that maybe wouldn't be open to me if I didn't have this degree. And so we really try to emphasize and make sure our students feel that they can also earn that academic high caliber degree while they're here as well.
Now, what's on the horizon for Purdue University? I'm sure there's been some changes as you go along throughout the years. What's on the horizon for Purdue University right now?
I think for the 5th year in a row, we've been ranked in the top 10 as one of the most innovative institutions in the United States. I think Purdue prides itself on making sure that we are competitive academically, also athletically. So I think, in the horizon for the university is just kind of keep doing what we're doing, but getting a little bit better each day. And I think, they are spending money and creating projects in order to make sure that those things are kind of continuing to be elevated each year. So academic buildings are going up, enrollment is an all-time high. It's competitive. It's, there's a lot of people that want to be here. And one of the things I like to say is there's no better time to be a Boilermaker than now, because we just keep getting better every single day as an institution.
Yeah, we're very proud to have my grandson, Bryce Hampton, that graduated from Purdue. I mean, it was a great honor for him to be at that university. And it was such a famous university. And the sports team, not only the football that he was in, but also the baseball, the basketball, and volleyball, and all teams. What other sports do you have in there that I did not just mention?
Yeah, we have, I think 18 teams in total. So we have football, women's and men's basketball, softball, baseball, women's soccer, men's and women's tennis, men's and women's golf, track and field, cross country. We have cheer. I sure hope I've named all wrestling, volleyball. So we have a really large platform for academic or athletic here at Purdue.
I don't know. I got to talk to somebody there, because I got to go there and teach him how to box.
We got to get some boxing here.
Start a Purdue boxing team. Why not?
Yeah, you should do it.
Collegiate boxing, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
But
I'll
you know
you.
what it takes to be exceptional in your sport and in your field. And so it's really a testament to how hard our kids work to be able to do those things, while earning a degree.
How come they don't have boxing there?
I don't know. I don't think it's an NCAA sport.
I don't know. We got to talk to somebody to find out what's going on there, because it's a tough sport to get into. It's not a game, because boxing is you're in the hurt business. I guess maybe that's why it's not in there.
Right.
Yeah. But anyway, so tell me, what are the plans for the next couple of years for yourself? Talk to a little bit about your career.
Okay. Yeah. So I've been with the team for 6.5 years, and I've been really fortunate. I'm grateful to Purdue that they have offered me so many opportunities to kind of really grow in my field. And so we have a new coaching staff this year. Coach Ryan Walters and his staff have been incredible to work with so far. I think that he's put a ton of emphasis on making sure that, when we're winning games, we're also breaking academic records. And so this past spring, aside from the COVID years, we had the second highest GPA we've had in 20 years. And so my goal now that I'm in this role is absolutely to break that record. I definitely want to break that record. We have 48% of the team with a 3.0 or higher this past semester as well. So I think in my own goals in this position is to make sure that we're recruiting top-notch students and athletes that can help us win games and help us break those academic records as well, and really show that we can be competitive all the way around.
Great. Now, what's been your greatest experience being at Purdue in your position that you're in now? The greatest. I mean, what is the highlight of your career so far?
I think the highlight of my career has just been really extending my family and who I consider family. I think really early on in this career, I've explained to the young men that I work with, my family doesn't live in West Lafayette, and neither does my husband. And so I spend more time with these kids than I do my own family, than I do my sister or my parents. And so I think the greatest thing that I'm most proud of is that I think I've developed, this cohort of young men that I consider my brothers. One of my most favorite students that I've ever worked with, it was the middle of the night and I got a call from him and it woke me up. And I immediately just thought, why is his name flashing across my screen? Something must be wrong. And so I sat up in bed and answered it. And he said to me, he's like, "Are you awake?" And I said, "Well, I'm on the phone." So yeah, but I was asleep. What's wrong? And he said to me, he said, I'm calling you because I'm on my way to the hospital. And I said, "Well, why are you calling me? Like, what's wrong? Do you need me?" And he said, "No, my girlfriend is going into labor and she's calling her whole family. And so I wanted to make sure I called mine." And that night, I mean, I just sat up in my bed and I just shed tears because I just thought, like, wow, I consider these kids to be a part of my family, but to be able to be, his phone call on the way to the hospital when he's having his first baby was really cool. And he said, "Are you coming to the hospital?" And I said, "Well, if you're asking me, then absolutely." So I got to go to the hospital when his daughter was born, and that was really incredible. That those are the things that personally I feel like has been the most wonderful part of my job. But as you were here a couple weeks ago, graduation is my Super Bowl, and so I make a really big deal about it with my students. I try to make my way to all of their families and see everyone when they're in town for graduation, because I see the blood, sweat, and tears. I see how hard they work. I see, when they get homesick or they get injured and they're struggling and they're not getting playing time, or they lose a tough game and they feel like it's on them. Like, we just go through so many highs and lows. And so for me to see all of those kind of culminating efforts come together for graduation, that's my Super Bowl. So professionally, those two things I think are the two highlights of what I do.
Well, let me tell you that when I met you that night at the dinner for just before my grandson's graduation, I saw how friendly and energetic you are about, and so caring about people. I said, I got to get you on my show because you're the kind of people that I like to share your kindness and your heart that you have with people out there. A lot of people, they kind of forget about the teachers and whatnot, but I don't forget about anybody. I look at everybody as very special, and you're very special because a lot of these individuals cannot get to the level they want to get to without somebody like you. You're like a guardian angel for all of them, and they all love you for being the kind of person that you are. And as a family member that we are with my grandson, and we have you and we invited you, we can see the kind of person you are. I said to myself, wow, my grandson was so lucky to have somebody on his side to help guide him through and get that diploma. That's something, that's a lifetime achievement. That's a great award that we got. And it wasn't easy for him, doing two things simultaneously, his studies and playing football.
Right.
Some students just go there to study, but when you have to do, sports and study, it's a little tougher, but they cannot do it without a guardian angel like yourself.
Thank you. Yeah, it is. It's a great job, and I mean, it's a lot of work, but I think, I get so much in return. There's so much like joy and happiness that I get from the guys. They share their lives with me, and it's really enjoyable. Like, I mean, getting to go to dinner with you and your family was so wonderful. It's something I'll always cherish because it's fun to be able to share, what Bryce and I did at Purdue. It's fun to share our new relationship and friendship with you guys. And I told Bryce when he left, I said, all right, like, this is forever now. I'm going to be checking in on you. You're not here. I'm not going to see you every day, but I'll be darned if you think I'm going to be a stranger now, because we've kind of been through it together. And so, it's something that, like, I really value, and I think it makes all of the hard work, the long days, the crazy Saturdays with recruits on campus, it makes it worth it. But I think in the college world of sports, coaches stand in these kids' living rooms and they make promises to these parents, and they say, send your kid to me and I promise I'll take care of them. And I take that personally, and I want to make sure that when I tell parents, they'll be in good hands at Purdue, I want to make sure that, like, I kind of stay true to my word as well. And so that's kind of what keeps me going.
Yeah, well, we want to make sure that he doesn't forget you. That's for sure, because like we said, it's like a family. You love them like if they're part of your family, and I'm sure the feeling is mutual when it comes to him, because he's got the same kind of heart I have. We love people, we care about people, and that's what's going to get him really ahead in life, because of the kind of heart, the kind of person he is. And I'm glad he got that education, and with your guidance at his side and with all the other students that you've worked throughout the year, I'm sure that everybody appreciates you as a person. They all, I'm sure, look up to you like a family member. You're very caring and loving, and that's so important in this world. We need more people like you out there.
Thank you. I appreciate that very
Yeah,
much.
yeah, yeah,
There's a
yeah.
lot of really good people in the field of education, and I'm really fortunate to work with some incredible people who feel the exact same way as I do.
Well, you're a beginner. You've been doing this for how many years? 6 years, 7 years already?
Yeah, 6.5 years. So there'll be my 7th season with the team this year.
Okay, great, great, great. So you got a whole career ahead of you. You got many years to come. A lot of news.
Yeah, lots more graduations to experience for sure.
Yeah, yeah. How does your husband and your family feel about you? I mean, your family, they must miss you dearly, but I mean, you got to get a little vacation to go home and visit your family. You're from where originally?
I'm from Villa Park, Illinois, so it's like a western suburb of Chicago.
Okay, it's
And
not too far from there.
no, it's like 2.5 hours. So my dad specifically thinks I have the world's coolest job, and he's not wrong. But he just thinks like I am the most important person and that I have the coolest job. So, and my mom and my little sister are super supportive as well. So I mean, they definitely try to come up and visit. And I like when I get the opportunity to kind of blend both of my families together, my parents and my sister with my football family. So they're super supportive, and my husband is wildly supportive of me, and I think it takes like the right partner to be able to balance this world and your home life. I think my phone is constantly ringing, and I'm constantly, answering texts or FaceTimes with the guys. And the farther along in our relationships I get with the guys, the more ridiculous things they call with, right? Like, I'm wearing this on a date. Does this look okay? Or I have a job interview. Does this match? Or have you ever been to this restaurant? What would you order there? So I get a lot of calls and texts from the guys, but I think, my husband knows how happy I am in my career, and we don't have kids of our own, so he kind of understands why I treat the boys that I work with the way that I do, because I feel like they are my babies. And he coaches high school sports, so I'm always surrounded by boys. I have football all day, and my husband coaches high school basketball, so if my football team isn't over at the house, then the basketball team is over. He gets it. I think he enjoys being around all things sports all the time as well.
Well, I'll tell you, it's amazing. The times that I've been there to watch my grandson play, at the stadium is unbelievable. I mean, you get like 70,000 fans in there. And I was so proud. I mean, one day I went there, it was like 29 degrees to see a game. I said, how can they do it? I was saying to myself, oh my God, to get out there and freeze my butt for 2.5, 3 hours out there, how can they do it? I said, but if my grandson's out there, I got to go out there and sit out there. But they're running around, I guess they don't feel that the coldness the way we do, sitting out there on the bleachers, and you're sitting there freezing my butt. Oh, it was amazing being there. But it was the greatest feeling in the world. And driving through that campus, the campus is just it's like a city in itself. It's beautiful there. I mean, I couldn't believe how big that place is. And I mean, it's just so kind. Everybody was people there are very friendly in Lafayette. Everybody would say hello to you. I go to the game. I went to a couple of volleyball games. Went to a couple of basketball games while we were there. And the fans that go there, I mean, they just, you got a lot of alumni that attend those games themselves, and they were there, and a lot of seniors just love to go there and support the teams. It's incredible.
Yeah, I think we're super fortunate to have like an incredible fan base in athletics. I think this past year, our student tickets sold out in less than 24 hours for all of our sporting events. So there's definitely a lot of support in the community, and on campus, and just in the surrounding community as well. And our athletic department is one of a handful of athletic departments that is pretty much self-funded, and so we rely so heavily on donors and alumni to give back to the athletics departments. And the reason that we are so successful is because we have so many incredible alumni that do give back, so that students can have these incredible experiences. The football stadium was amazing before, and now it's going through renovations. They're tunneling from the new football facility into the stadium, so there's going to be a new entrance for the football team. They're creating a new student section for the football games. So I think it's going to be even cooler next year. So you guys will definitely have to try to come back, but maybe pick a warmer game than 29 degrees, because that's cold.
I tell you, I mean, here in Las Vegas, it gets cold, but not that cold. I'm in New York originally, and I'm used to kind of like cold weather. But I've been in Las Vegas now for over 30 years, and you get
Yeah.
acclimated to this kind of weather we have here. We went there to Indiana in Lafayette. Oh my God, it was so cold. I mean, I've been to cold places, but that night, that afternoon, went to watch the game. But the good thing is we won anyway. The main thing was Purdue won. The Boilermakers,
There you
go Boilermakers! Everybody going crazy. You love it. I love the beginning of the day when the team comes out to the stadium. They come out and you got the train that comes out and all the band playing. It's just amazing. I mean, the chills that go through your body just watching these events. I mean, you guys really have it made there. You should be very proud of it and very thankful for God for the job that you have because, I mean, not many people get that opportunity to say, I'm part of Purdue University. Some individuals go there for so many years, 4 years, and they're gone. But you're there for so many years to come. You got a dream come true job, I think.
I think so too. I hit the job jackpot for sure. I tell people that all the time.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. You've been blessed in so many ways. I hope in many years to come that you continue to do what you're doing. Now, you say you have a lot of alumni who come back and they keep supporting. A lot of them come back. I met a couple individuals there that were just so. They said, "Joe, we come here all the time to watch the games. You know, we come to watch different sports, not only the football." But there's been some individuals that I ran across to sitting there watching my grandson play. Talking to them, they were saying, well, I used to be a football player here myself, you know. And they said, this is just a dream come true. And he said, I sit out here and I watch these kids play. He said, it bring back great memories of when I used to play here at the stadium, you know, back in the day. So it's a great memories for these individuals that keep coming back. A lot of them lived right there. A lot of them, they graduate, they move away, but some of them come back. It seems to be a beautiful city in Lafayette.
Oh yeah, when I recruit kids, it's funny because some kids from these huge cities will come and they say, "Well, what's in West Lafayette?" And I always say, "More than you think. There's more here to do than you think." And like you said, so many alumni, so much community support. So I think that there's lots of restaurants. You're close to Indianapolis. You're not far from Chicago. So I think that there's plenty to do to keep our guys entertained. But again, like the collegiate experience, you're going to get that small town atmosphere, but lots to do in the surrounding area.
Now, if anybody wants to reach out to your university, want to get some information, how can they go get information online? Where do they go to?
Yeah, Purdue.edu will direct them to most questions that they have. If they're interested in exploring majors, we have 10 colleges and more than 200 majors on campus. So just visiting the Purdue website would be the initial piece. I would say for prospective students, trying to reach out directly to coaches is probably the best way to do that. But yeah, there's a lot of information online and through Purdue's websites, and we obviously also have just a student support center on campus, so prospective students can reach out to the admissions office and get as much information as they might need in order to make the decision that is best for them about major or where they might study.
Yeah. Now, do you recommend that a lot of the students around the country they have tours that go to different colleges to visit to see which college they like the best? Where can they reach out to for special events, for special tours for these youngsters who go to high school, they graduate, they're looking at the senior year, they're looking to where they're going to go the following year to college. The best place to reach is, like you just mentioned, online?
Yeah, so visiting all of your prospective colleges may not be financially it might not be a possibility, unfortunately. So, I mean, flying, if you're considering going somewhere far away, it might not be an opportunity for you to visit all of them. So I would say start small and start looking on admissions websites, seeing what requirements those institutions have, seeing if they have the major that you're considering. I think the average college student changes their major 3 times while they're enrolled. So I think making sure they have at least a general idea of what you want to study would be an important piece. A lot of high schools, when I was a high school teacher, we held college fairs, and so that's where representatives from other those colleges or institutions around the country might come up and set up for a day. So taking advantage of those opportunities are really great, especially if you don't think you'll be able to physically visit every campus. Being able to have, a face-to-face conversation with a representative from the college can be a really good way for you to get a lot of information about an institution and what the institution values, and where their priorities lie. And then, like I said, once you maybe have narrowed it down just a little bit, if it's realistic and feasible for you to go on visits, I think you should definitely do that. My dad took me on my college visits, and we went to a handful of campuses, and they were all great, and I learned a lot. But when I came to Purdue, when I stepped foot on campus, that's, I think, when I knew for me that this was the place that I was going to call home. And I thought, like you said, I would, call it home for 4 years, but I never left. My parents brought me in when I was 18, and I'm going to be 34 in 2 weeks. And so I've been here 16 years almost, and it's home to me now. So
That's amazing.
if you have the ability to visit.
Well, we want to wish you a happy birthday in 2 weeks, and we wish you the very best. And thank you for what you're doing with our students there at Purdue University. And thank you for being on the show today. It's an honor to have you on. We're welcome to come back again in the near future. Thank you very much, Samantha Love, the director of the Purdue University, the director of football, academics, and CAVE. Thank you so much. God bless you always. My fans, will catch you next week. Keep your guards up at all times. Remember, guys, we're fair, we're firm. It's Boilermakers. Go, 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 Boilermakers. Take care. See you next week. Bye-bye.